also have a question and answer session and your comments, then live shortly. Please put your phone on silence. I know you have beautiful ringtones, but not today. Also, please do not walk around the room, not in front of the camera. We'll be live on social media and TV shortly. Avoid. Okay. Can you still hear me? All right. We have the, of course, members of this institution, but for the guests who are here and they're not familiar, the restrooms are, when you follow the exit right behind the room. So that will be easier for you, so we don't have a lot of people. I'm looking forward to this. It is close to my heart. It's a conversation close to all our hearts. We have been boys and girls before, now men and women, and it is important that these conversations continue. In fact, when they say 16 days of activism against gender violence, I don't know if my panelists agree, it would rather be 365 days. Yes. Let me just a round of applause. I also appreciate the partners, KTN, if I will start with that, the UNESCO, University of Nairobi, 3+, UNFPA, KFTC, for welcoming us home, and Safer Campuses Campaign. What's our campus, Niaji? Wow! Parade. I'm good. There it is. You can take it up, and then we can go live.
Now, bila shaka, karibuni sana. Ikiwa tutafanya hivi basi tutakuwa na kipindi kimoja kizuri. Nataka niwakaribishe sana, licha ya kuwa tuko kwenu, lakini wakaribishe kwenye mahojiano haya.
So we're going to go into the countdown shortly, but I will stand up for this one. All right. Now we will have the panelists, and you should be very excited to hear from experts. I admire the days when I was in school, to be taught, to listen, and how it is so beautiful the partners brought experts to you. This is very special. And I want to invite the panelists. We have 2 sessions, all right? Panel discussions. Take time. We will be precise and detailed. Take your notebooks out or your smartphone for the quick details that we will give. We will keep our wordings very respectful of vocabulary, all right? Very respectful from our man as well. And I know you've been a great institution, and we will also be respecting the viewers that will be watching us from back. All right. If you're good to go, I will start by first saying that these are 90-minute live TV Townhall discussion, and we are gathered here by various and diverse stakeholders. Once again, we've seen policymakers here, education leaders, students, representatives, we have survivors in the room, civil society actors are also in the room. If you any capacity, then again, give me just one clap. You know what I believe in? Such conversations are not supposed to be gloomy. Now I'm going to ask one more question, where a major clap that shows you're ready to break the silence. Clap. Thank you very much. I also want to appreciate that we're blending in with the expert analysis, survivor testimonies, and audience participation, just as we said. Our main objective here is to create actionable outcomes to foster a culture of accountability. Now, James is on the road the other day, seeking for what? Accountability. We're going in a very short time. Let us enjoy the forum. evening, this is a very important conversation of watching KTN, and of course, I'm right here at the Kenya right here in Nairobi, with a great audience right here in this same room. And I want to welcome a special live town hall for discussion regarding into a topic that is close to many people's hearts, as much as sometimes majority shy away from having that one conversation. This conversation is part of the 60 days of activism that starts annually on the 25th of November and goes all the way to today, the 10th of December. This is the quick but very interesting fact. Today is also a Human Rights Day. What a beautiful coincidence. Now, as we do and celebrate this particular day, bringing in the activities that happen in activism, this particular day is dedicated to raising awareness, not just raising awareness, but driving action to end violence against women and girls. The big question that men will be asking, where are the gentlemen? We'll come closer to that in the panels in the room. The numbers are staggering. In 1 in 3 women globally have experienced gender-based violence. And it's not just a distant issue, ladies and gentlemen. It happens in schools, universities, and even in spaces meant to empower us. This is why this conversation is very timely. In Kenya, over half of all women have, of course, faced violence or harassment in their lifetime. Further to campus life, while we've made progress increasing the number of women in higher education, many still face harassment and abuse. Some are even in the street. This violence doesn't just harm individuals, it holds back the entire communities by limiting opportunities for learning, work, and free. Now we have a short break, but we'll be right back after this. I am still in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. All right. Now, I just want to bring you up to speed that our panelists kept time, and so did we. And what we expect is the first panelist seated will be right at the front. Even as we go back on air, and you'll see their faces shortly. And by short, they have been ended. I'm joined here by First Lady Appreciate Dr. Kelly Okoch, PhD, is very important to me to say, Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Medical Training College, and of love. Again, to that beautiful introduction. We have student leader Esther Taranga, University of Nairobi. Please appreciate Esther right here. And the University of Nairobi, Professor Walter Dow, the Director, Institute of Clinical Research, University of Nairobi. People dying, like you're better enough for believing. Make a better place for you and for me. That's better. You guys are great. Now, I also have seen that you're wearing color white and orange. Does anyone know the reason why? Orange? Or you just see one orange, yes? Right, let's appreciate her. Yeah? Yeah, and it's very, very important that you do this color. So when we start, we're going to expect a very short remarks from some of the faculty. They'll keep it very brief because of the time that I'm going to do, but they have much theory as well. Let me tell you, in media we do not give up. We shall move this conversation. We have a whole team behind you. And I know you have some team, so you're strong enough. Anyone ready to give up? No. Okay, I guess our partners have seen none of us giving up. So, director, you can hear me? We are here. All right. And we shall make this happen. Oh, yes. So, of course, remember that we're going to have very short remarks from the UNFPA, but also just have a few questions in mind. After the first panel, we have at least, one of the questions, and time allowed. So you can direct that to specific and once again, we apologize for the small pitch. Rights Day, what a day. My name is Activism, but on behalf of KTN, just appreciating your viewership and engagement on social media and also on our platforms. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I already gave you the opening remarks, but it's very important that we acknowledge the partners for making this happen right here at the Kenya Medical Training Center, KMC in Nairobi, KTN, of course, UNESCO, University of Nairobi, Plus, Safer Campus Campaign, and UNFPA. At this point, I want to welcome the representatives of UNESCO and UNFPA to give very brief remarks and of course just let us know what their expectations are in this live townhall discussion on gender-based violence.
Na shukran sana Activism. Mimi nitakuwa fursa ya kuita Irene Ongoi kutoka UNFPA kuzungumzia masuala haya. Basi yeye pia atampatia Jen kama.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm very delighted to be here with you and to join so many people who are as committed as we are to ending gender-based violence, which is one of the greatest human rights violations that we are facing. And we said today, Human Rights Day, so this is a very opportune time for us to be discussing this very critical issue. UNFPA is the UN Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency. And we want to ensure that everyone, all people, have the opportunity to fulfill their potential, and especially women, girls, and young people. The people who are seated in this room here today, you are a core part of UNFPA's mandate and why we exist, to make sure that you can live a life free from violence in all its forms and everywhere where it occurs. And that also includes in online spaces. I know all of you are so active on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, in the digital platforms. We use online platforms to learn, to connect with friends. And I just wanted to tell you that the virtual and online violence, especially for women and girls who are very much more exposed to this form of violence, we want to tell you that there is a solution and that you should not be quiet because it's not causing you physical injury. It doesn't mean that it doesn't cause you harm. And so we hope that today we can work together to come up with solutions to create safer campuses and safer learning institutions for all of us. Thank you very much.
Kutoka UNESCO, afisa wa UNESCO.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Good evening. As my colleague said, I'm also very excited for this opportunity that we have to talk about safer campuses. As UNESCO, we have a project that we are implementing. It's called Our Rights, Our Lives, Our Future. And it is within this project that we are having a Safer Campuses campaign that is being implemented across these countries in Africa, because we are saying that we want to stop to ensure that we have safer campuses for our learners to achieve their educational potential. It is unacceptable when we have even children, even in this country, where you have children as young as 13 years becoming mothers. You have high incidences of femicide that we have seen. And for us, what we are doing is that we are working with the University of Nairobi and we are working with the Kenya Medical Training College to ensure that we are safer campuses by establishing the gender desk where they can seek help. We have gender wellness, and we're also doing a lot of creating awareness and action. And we're very excited to see that today, as we mark the last day of the 16 days, for us, it is not the last day, but also this work continues because we have to ensure that we have safer campuses. And for young people who are here, as much as we are talking about safer campuses for girls and women, we're also telling the young men it is okay not to be okay. Please seek help when you have challenges. Thank you, and we look forward to a very exciting discussion. Thank you.
Umesikia, si wasichana peke yake, pia wavulana wameambiwa wajitokeze wapase sauti zao. Je, jopo lako linasemaje? Lakini naona jopo lililoshika chuo cha Nairobi kiko hapo, pia chuo cha KTC kiko hapo, na pia wengine wako hapo. Chukua fursa.
Asante sana Yeri, I want to appreciate all the partners in And of course, just to get the conversation going, we're now back on this podium with the panelists with me. Want to get into the conversation, a very engaging conversation. But I'm reminded the words of Isaac Asimov, who said, violence is the last refuge of the incomplete intent. All right? Remember that in South Africa, this is something that is rising in South Africa as well, the southern of the continent. And a pandemic within a pandemic has been exposed. These were the words of Gracia herself when she was speaking in 2020. South Africa's Police Commissioner basically had confirmed that there were very many rising cases of GBV in South Africa at that time. In fact, this remarks forced the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, then to dump that particular issue, gender-based violence in South Africa, as a second pandemic. That's how serious it can go. Now, we want to just get into the conversation with the panelists right here with me. And even as I mentioned, the names I will encourage the audience to just give a round of applause to acknowledge them for being intentionally here. I want to appreciate the UON Professor Townhall, who's the director, CABI, Institute of Clinical Research, University of Nairobi. Let's appreciate him. I'm also here with a security leader. It's very important that we hear your voice. Thank you for coming. Esther Gitaranda from the University of Nairobi. Esther, very excited. And he's hosting to allow me to again appreciate the KMC representative, who is their own CEO, Dr. Kelly Owoch, PhD, Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Training College. Thank you very much for coming. And Ms. Alberta is the last but not least. Ms. Alberta Wambua is the Director, Gender Violence Recovery Center of the Nairobi. So let's appreciate Alberta. Panelists, we appreciate you. But again, we're going to follow Max very detailed, very short. I'll start with the first student, with today. Hearing the remarks is very, very important. You set the pace for all of us in the room. My major question is, can you interact with the students in the world now? What are the main forms of gender-based violence that the students today are dealing with? What are they? Which are the things they are measuring in welcome?
Comrades power. Comrades power. Sounds really well not to say that. I think it is important that we mention that it's our president of all different students at the University of Nairobi. And I think that is important because I directly interact with these issues, and a lot of them are happening. The problem is insecurity. Or if I tell Mitara at the end of the day, she's not lawyer, she's no police, what is she going to do? So the main forms of gender-based violence are sexual gender-based violence, physical gender-based violence, and the online gender-based violence. Especially online, it is taken as if it is part of life, especially to those vocal, to the leaders, the vocal girls who want to speak their mind and be heard. It is seen as if for you to be harassed is an initiation process. It's like if you can't take the insult, if you can't take the harassment, then you're not fit for leadership. You're not fit to be aggressive in whatever field you're doing. The other thing that is happening with physical violence, it is happening because of understanding perpetrators. At the end of the day, there is a lot of nilibai food na nikabai free. Salamu unaninyima, At the end of the day, it is not the perpetrator who is at fault in this case. It is the female, because why did you eat and drink? That's not consent. Food and drink is not consent.
So I'm talking about
yes. Okay. It is happening a lot, and that is why it is continuing today. That girls no longer have the right to say no to men or men to fellow ladies. Girls no longer have the right to set standards for the type of people that they want to give sexual consent to. And it is very sad because it is a conversation we keep repeating every day. And sometimes I ask myself, to the gentlemen, How hard is it to approach a lady? I mean, come on. You can do this without beating up a lady. When she says no and you push her all over and you insult her, it is so wrong. Yeah, when she comes to visit your hostel, that does not mean she has come there for sex. When you see her with condoms in her handbag or in her room, that is not to say that she's prepared to have sex anytime. So we need to understand this conversation. That consent means she has to say the word yes, or he has to say the word yes for you to know it is consent. So it is happening a lot. And sadly, a lot of us are afraid to report because we do not know what will be done at the end of the day. And let me just say to the school administration, to the bodies that are here, to the police, stop forcing victims to solve these cases out of court. Stop telling ladies and girls, simuongee hii maneno ishi. Stop telling them he's your boyfriend, you've been together for 8 months. This is a small misunderstanding. Stop telling them that he can compensate you and cater for your medical bills. I mean, a crime is a crime. It needs to be handled as a crime, and it does not matter who the perpetrator is, whether it's the student leader, whether it's the school staff, whoever it is, let them be treated as the criminals that they are. All right. Another issue we have.
As far as this challenge, reporting challenges, and also how those particular students can become allies in combating the gender-based violence, because it is within the institution. But allow me to hear from the, of course, the chief executive officer and to see Dr. Kelly Walsh, because Nairobi University is the institution of higher learning, but we want to get deeper into the higher institutions, that is a TVET, tertiary education institution. Now, perhaps you can bring us up to speed on how this gender-based violence manifests itself in the higher institutions, that is tertiary education institution.
Thank you so much. About 90% of people report having experienced gender-based violence in one way or another, majorly technology instigated gender-based violence as student. And in college, about 40% of the population of students report actually having experienced gender-based violence. And out of them, 68% of them tend to be women or ladies. Now, how does it present in our cases? Majorly, it starts by poor performance, academic performance. There is withdrawal or mental disturbance of the victim. Some cases, they present with physical features like marks, body marks that show that physical violence. And sometimes, basically, withdrawal of the individual that probably could speak to cases of being afraid to report the way our student leader is talking about, where we have challenges of stigma about reporting gender-based violence. Now, academic institutions like ours need to be very sensitive, and our lecturers need to be very sensitive to realize that this is, as you're saying, a pandemic. And there is no one who owns the right to inflict harm to any other person. And as an institution, we call out this vice and we say it is not acceptable to have gender-based violence. And our students need to learn in an environment that is safe. So we are talking about safe campuses in the whole region. And here we are saying that we need to have a safe environment for it. And we need to have measures in place for those who become victims of gender-based violence. And those measures must be youth-friendly so that it encourages reporting. It encourages health-seeking behavior like counseling. and it encourages a situation where victims get mental support, psychological support, medical attention, and at the same time, it enables them to get back to their feet and continue with studies. Because actually, in the worst case scenario, it could lead to suicide tendencies among victims. And what we do not want is to see a case of a student losing their lives because of gender-based violence. What we are saying here is just even one casualty of gender-based violence is one too many, and we must stop this right on this track. Thank you.
Right, let's appreciate them. In fact, the slogans that we all use. Sometimes you question if you use it just because it's trending or you really mean it. I don't know if it's familiar. Even if you're watching from back and forth, once in a while say, break the cycle of violence, break the silence, know your rights. Everybody says that, know your rights. Of course, you're looking at do not look away. People are talking about hashtag stop the violence, act against abuse. But what are you actually doing? What is the action? Because the main call for action here tonight. I want to appreciate Ms. Albata, because I should have started with you, but I started with the student and of course the CEO intentionally, because someone watching from back at home is not trying to find where they are. You know, there's so many definitions of everything. People Google every time. You know, we have people who are self-proclaimed experts. We're very glad to have you here. You're the executive director of Gender Violence Recovery Center of the Nairobi Women's Hospital. So I want to go back to that layman's question. What exactly are we talking about? Gender-based violence. And what type of gender-based violence has really been there that we are now at?
Thank you for having me on the show. Good evening. So gender-based violence is really violence perpetrated because of your gender, and it can happen both in public and private spaces. And it takes different forms. So one is sexual violence, it's called to sexual violence. And I want to also insist that gender-based violence can happen together, gender, both male and female, where what it happens, the people who report, the survivors who report gender-based violence are both male and female, though a higher percentage is female. So sexual violence is one of the forms of violence. We also have physical violence. We also alluded to it, and she also spoke about the beating, push, left and right, slapping, kicking, all that. We also have emotional violence, psychological violence. So an example would be insults. For example, you've been insulted, your self-esteem is being drained and things like that. We also have economic violence. So for example, you're being told by your partner not to go to work. When you do, the resources or the money of salary that you get is also controlled. You have no control over it. I'd also like to mention that there's also harmful practice. So, for example, female genital mutilation or circumcision, wife inheritance. We also have femicide. We talk about femicide for a long time in this country, especially this year. And femicide is not takes different forms. So, for example, in this country, there are areas where old women will be killed because they are perceived to be witches. That's femicide. Yeah. So it's not just the killing of students. We've also talked about technologically facilitated gender-based violence, also alluded to that. And that's using technology to perpetrate violence. So, for example, cyberbullying, someone spoke about cyberbullying on students. There's also sharing, for example, extortion, sharing information without someone's consent. You can do that. There's also doxing. The student leader mentioned in Kenya it happens a lot. That it happens, whatever economic situation, whatever spaces you live, it can happen to you.
And I just want to pick that question because you're saying this happens, but even as you experience your kids that come to the center, who students at the highest rate. I mean, what do you see really what we have?
Thank you. So where I work at the Gender Reserve Center, we have an approximate of 4,000 survivors 1 year. And that's when there's no social disruption, like election, the shadow pandemic, and all COVID. 90% of these cases will be the women, 40% will be children, 76% of the cases be sexual violence cases. Now talking about higher institutional planning, from April 2023 to March 2024, 228 cases for students in higher institutional planning, and 8 of them actually resulted to pregnancy. Interestingly, higher about 70% of those cases were actually intimate partner violence.
Very much for that data. I want to come with the I will go to the rest and I want to hear your opinion and experience in the HDI, correct? The eyes. Is there rights? I know there are so many, articles out there, but I want your opinion. Is there rights in the
Thank you very much for inviting me to this panel. Yes, definitely there is a right. And what you see on the list, what you see happening in the country, but let's see what is happening. I've already alluded to a project for both papers, that's the University of Nairobi, funded by UNESCO. It's the reality that students within campuses need us. All papers, as we know, stand for our rights, our lives, and our future. And gender-based violence is one of the students achieving their lives. And so it is a very important conversation. The common denominator in gender-based violence society, and as we heard all the panelists talk about it, is that the silence could be from the victim, him or herself, but there's also a big silence in society. We are told not to talk about it. There is stigma forcing people to go silent. So in this campaign, what we would like to appeal to people is to break silence and to be advocates of speaking out against gender-based violence. On the rise, but we can take her down.
Professor, I know you've spoken about the silence. Are there other things that you can actually do this wise? Are there other things that you can actually do besides people just being silent about it? Other things?
Yeah, silence perpetrates it, but the genesis of gender-based violence.
Bullying is a form of violence that affects millions of students each year. It happens to anyone regardless of age or gender. Bullying is hurting someone on purpose. It takes many forms, for example, verbal bullying like calling someone names, physical bullying, and cyberbullying like posting mean things about someone online. So why do people bully? Oftentimes, the people who bully are hurting from something. It may make them feel powerful at school but helpless elsewhere. This doesn't justify bullying, but it can give us an understanding as to why it is happening. If you find yourself bullying, talk to someone. All is not lost, you can get help and start to have real friends. Meet Ruth. Ruth used to love school. But now she hates going because she gets verbally bullied about her clothes. Sometimes people call her ghetto, and it really hurts her feelings. But she is too afraid to tell anyone. Ruth's attitude changed and stopped talking in class. Thankfully, her teacher noticed and got her to open up about her bullying. You deserve to feel safe and happy in school. If you witness bullying, you can help make it stop. Don't be quiet. Reach out to the person being bullied. Report the matter as soon as possible. If you feel safe to do so, tell the bully to stop. If we all work together, we can put an end to bullying.
What are the challenges? We will not break it down for us. Because all the students would want to know that there is safe. Report somewhere for gender test, perhaps to the police, perhaps they're watching back at home. It is safe for you to report an incident. Esther, what is the challenge for you young people right now?
You see, my school administration here is not beating up than this. Let me just say it to you. It is happening a lot that some of the people who are actually perpetrators are student leaders or the popular group in school. So when you get a case in school, you're supposed to report to the security at the hostels because that is maybe where it happens. The moment you report to the hostel, and these people are known by this person, they will go and try to solve these issues behind closed doors. At the end of the day, this victim will be told, how can you say that he raped you, yet he is your boyfriend? It means there's an automatic consent if you're in an intimate relationship. So the cases are not taken seriously. Most of them do not even get to the legal action, and I'm sure even for them, they might not know that it's happening because the reporting does not actually get to their desk.
Let me interject. So this is something that you know to do, something that quite a number of students really are aware, the one on the side. How, and because they're listening back at home as well, and students here, how then can students be part of, breaking that cycle and making it louder for your administration and say, take it seriously. What do you think with their role to play in combating crime? And secondly, this barrier between the reporting and the authority.
I think the first thing is to stop protecting these people. These people are our friends, these people are our brothers, these people are our classmates. And you're looking at your friend and in a situation where if you report, this guy might be expelled, this guy might be suspended, this person might be in prison, and you try to talk the victim out of it in the name of pia wewe kuwa human kidogo. Sasa akishakuwa expelled, utakuharibia mtoto wa mtu maisha kukuli. So at the end of the day, we are the people who are helping these perpetrators to continue these things. Because you try to push this thing, but then there is a very big crowd behind this person who is saying, it happened once, I promise it will not happen again. But it ends up happening to one person and another one. And this one victim who did not get assistance, their first information, if they hear of another case, they will say, don't even report because you won't get any help. And then at the end of the day, they try to make you feel like if they go to prison, what will you have benefited? Your benefit there is that it will not happen to your sister, it will not happen to any other student. So kindly, let us speak up. Let us not be afraid to talk. And if at this level you do not get help, just know there is always a higher level where you can report. You can go directly to the dean of students. If you feel that is not being worked on, please go to the police. If they are not responsive, please go to the leader. Please do not keep quiet, do not give up because you make one of something. But please let us stop protecting.
Let us stop. I think that is a not to hear from Mr. Cameron, because there's a question: how can generation how you talk to people? We're looking to a generation that needs to be convinced at some point that you really for them and you're not just playing games. And I'm curious for the fact how the administration is current, right? And you are the top and ensure that academic institutions of higher learning, tertiary universities. We believe your voice will be done.
Thank you. As institutional leadership, the bank stops at us. And this means that we should create environments that foster safe existence among the stakeholders who exist in that environment. In Kenya Medical Training College, we do a lot. First is partnerships. For example, now we have partnerships with UNFPA and UNESCO to be able to promote awareness. Awareness, having information is very important and key, so that you're able to identify, you're able to communicate, and you are able to know what actions to take in cases where you are violated. Second is to ensure that there are mechanisms to correct the wrong. The first mechanism is to make sure there are enabling policies in place, like sexual harassment policy, gender-based violence policy, the human resource policies that are in place that enable action to be taken against perpetrators. And we also have in our case what is called a student handbook that elaborates what is not acceptable within the institution and what is to be done. Again, there must be environments that creates interventions that are effective. And those interventions could include a youth-friendly environment. And that means that counseling should be enabled in terms of situations where you can promote peer counseling. And you can enable perpetrators to be exposed and victims to have an environment where they can report without feeling victimized, without people standing against them. And then we also need to have situations where actions are followed to ensure that effectiveness is there to bring victims justice. This is where we have to.
Well, thank you very much. I also want to actually started this one in the meeting, but I don't know what you have to say. With preparation, for those who are watching back home, Gary is here with me for the Kiswahili.
Na bila shaka haki kama nilivyosikia kwamba wengi ambao wanapitia madhila haya hawataki kufika mbele kuweza kuzungumzia, ikiwa ni vitu kwamba watu waweze kufikia yale madhila na tabia ambazo kupitia kwa wale ambao wanatekeleza pale. Na nataka nichukue mwanafunzi mmoja nisikie kauli yake kwa dakika moja kabla kwenye makundi kabla ya kuzungumzia maswali. Nisikie kauli yake kusema yale ambayo tunazungumza. Sasa zungumza.
Good evening, everyone. I thank you for this opportunity. My name is Ms. Brenda Nyango. I'm from Kenya Medical Training College. And what I want to say about it is, like, what the changes that we students want to see when addressing TPP on campuses. And the first change, we want to improve reporting mechanisms within the campuses. And first, we want to thank the UNESCO, UNFPA, in partnership also with our institution, Kenya Medical Training College, for giving us the gender desk here at KTC, the UON2. But now we want to ask, the gender desk is always open during the working hours. So we want to ask if it should be open during off hours. Suppose something happened to any student in the hostel during the weekends or off hours like night hours. What is the first measure that student will take towards reporting what has happened to him or her? The second thing is dedicated trained personnel to handle TPP cases sensitively and confidentially. We want those trained personnel to be there to handle these cases confidentially and in a sensitive way. Because most of our students, they are afraid to seek these solutions. Why? Because they say
If we go there and share our problems with those people, it will just be like accelerating the problem. And then another thing is to create awareness and education within our campuses, not only in KTC here at Nairobi in UN. We want this education and awareness to be created all over the country to other KTCs and other universities outside there, because youths are also outside there and they need this awareness. And then the third thing is equity. If we look about on this, we found that in situations like this platform that we are in right now, if we look at people who are here, the female are much more than the male students. Because male people, male students, they feel like they have been withdrawn from this. You heard people talking about female, neglecting male outside. And at the end of the day, it is this male that have been neglected. At the end of the day, it is this male that have been neglected outside. We are ending up to meet with them to create life partners. You see, they have been neglected out. You see, like wanaume kajitegemea, acha nishughulikie mtu wangu msichana. And they are growing up with that stigma and mental health. And then at the end, you will find the physical abuse. You will ask yourself, where is this physical abuse coming from? It is because of the stigma these men have grown with. The last thing I want to say, we have to treat the cause than the symptoms. Yes, we have to treat the cause than the symptoms. What is the main cause of this? You will find our female students, the main cause is they are trying to find a way to provide for themselves. Lack of school fees, and even the way to sustain themselves because of the humble backgrounds we have there back at home. So they will try to give themselves to these men. So what is the prevention? I would like to ask to bring the supportive partners, supportive forms for these students. Like school fees, even if you can give them the loan, they will borrow the loan, pay the school fees, and pay back. They have been doing. All right.
Kupitia kwamba lazima tujue shida na kile ambacho tunaweza kutoa tiba yake. Nataka nirudi kwa kitu haki aweze kushukuru.
That was very powerful. I'll treat this very briefly, and I want to very tough questions to ask today, how the survivors can support and the steps that survivors need to take is justice. But Albata is here. I want to encourage you all to take a number to make sure that the conversation continues. I get a chance of bringing him back. So let's just give a round of applause for panelists. Mr. Albata Wambua, thank you for his time. Thank you so much for your time. I also want to appreciate our host today, Dr. Kelly Watch, and Power. And Itaraga, the University of Nairobi. The conversation continues. If you watch it from back at home, I hope it's exciting. Remember, 60 days of activism against gender violence comes to an end today, starts on 20th of November, but we were hoping it could run for 365 days a year. Remember, it's also the Human Rights Day. Do not miss the conversation. Second panelist, come in after this.
Bullying is a form of violence that affects millions of students each year. It happens to anyone regardless of age or gender. Bullying is hurting someone on purpose. It takes many forms, for example, verbal bullying like calling someone names, physical bullying, and cyberbullying like posting mean things about someone online. So why do people bully? Oftentimes, the people who bully are hurting from something. It may make them feel powerful at school but helpless elsewhere. This doesn't justify bullying, but it can give us an understanding as to why it is happening. If you find yourself bullying, talk to someone. All is not lost, you can get help and start to have real friends. Meet Ruth. Ruth used to love school. But now she hates going because she gets verbally bullied about her clothes. Sometimes people call her ghetto, and it really hurts her feelings. But she is too afraid to tell anyone. Ruth's attitude changed and stopped talking in class. Thankfully, her teacher noticed and got her to open up about her bullying. You deserve to feel safe and happy in school. If you witness bullying, you can help make it stop. Don't be quiet. Reach out to the person being bullied. Report the matter as soon as possible. If you feel safe to do so, tell the bully to stop. If we all work together, we can put an end to bullying.
But now, have some